Welcome to this webinar. I won't take up too much time because all we wanted to say was that the Landcare Farming Program is really happy to be working with Farmbot on this webinar to support you producers. Now, I was at the Australian Beef Sustainability Framework reference meeting last week, and what continued to come up the whole time was about using ag tech in ways to support primary producers on the land, and that's exactly what Farmbot are doing and are being recognised and trusted to do. So this is a good opportunity for all of you to understand a bit more about Farmbot, some of the opportunities that are coming up with funding and with their new devices and the continuous improvement. Farmbot are not a stagnant organisation. They're continually improving what they're doing based on feedback from producers because of what's happening out in the paddock. So I will not go talk anymore. I will hand you over to Elle and Nina, and they will be able to let you know a bit more about Farmbot. So thanks, guys. Over to you.
Thanks, Ange. Morning, everyone. I'm the Business Development Manager for Queensland and Northern Territory at Farmbot. I'm based on a cattle property south of Blackall, where I work remotely from. I just want to thank you all for joining us this morning, and hopefully I can share some insights into what our Farmbot solutions can provide and how you can incorporate these remote monitoring solutions into your current water infrastructure at 50% off. I'd also love to see where you're all joining us from today. So please, if you can, drop it in the chat box. And lastly, thank you, Landcare Australia, for hosting this webinar and letting me join you today. I'm just going to quickly run through the agenda. So we'll kick things off with a little bit about Farmbot, an intro to what we do and our remote water monitoring, a run through of our MyFarmbot platform, some of the hardware, how does it work, where can it be situated within your current infrastructure, the on-farm connectivity grant, where Farmbot solutions are up to 50% off, and then getting started. So where to get the ball rolling if you are wanting to get some hardware on your property. So a question I usually kick things off with is who can tell me what their water's doing right now, or how many people here are going to check their waters this week. We all know that checking water for livestock is just something that has to be done. It's unavoidable. We also know that pumps stop, pipes burst, and leaks happen at the most inconvenient times. I mean, there could be one right now. How would you know? What if we had a solution that could be monitoring your water in near real time, where you'd receive text messages or an email alert now if something went wrong, so you can fix the problem when you have a problem? Farmbot gives you the ability to check your water remotely, saving you time and money whilst reducing the need for costly manual water runs, but also that peace of mind knowing what your water's doing at any time. So here I'm going to run through our MyFarmbot platform on the demo farm, which is an overview of what each of the watering points are doing, which is viewed from this bird's eye map view. It's a simple traffic light system, green indicating no alerts, yellow warning something could be going on, and red something critical is going on. So we'd be getting out there to check it. Let's jump in and check one of our tanks. This is the overview you get of a tank. Capacity sitting at 85% and trending steady. Here is where you can also see the level at where the tank is sitting at this point, the volume as well. The levels and volumes can be changed per tank. As we know, each tank is different and has different needs to be able to check. The blue line is the water level line, which reflects the water data points and how the tank is trending. This example is a 14-day period, but this can obviously be changed to a 48-hour, 7-day, or a 30-day view, depending on what data and snapshot you're wanting to capture. Here you can see when there is a drop in the blue line, that's where a pipe has burst. So you've got your alert levels, which are the dotted lines. So you've got your high level, your low level, which are the yellow lines, and your red line, which is your critical level. So here is when you'd be alerted when that water reaches the point. We also have an excessive rate of fall. which on this next slide is where these can be set. So you've got your high, low, and critical low, your excessive rate of fall. Here is also where you can add your team members. So you can have up to 10 team members per platform. They can have visibility on certain properties or certain tanks. It just depends how you want to run the platform. Next, we will jump into our pump control. So once again, the blue line is the water trending line. The green shaded area is when the pump is on and active pumping. You can base the pump control off a destination tank actual water level that has a Farmbot monitor on it. You can set it for a time of day, or you can turn it off with one click of a button. So you can control the pump anywhere at any time. We found that this pump control allows you to pump when required to reduce overpumping and any additional expenses. Here is an example of what the alerts will look like when an alert level is triggered on your tank. This is in a text message form. We don't just stop at water level. Yes, that's what we're well known for, but we also have plenty of other options. So we have a rain gauge that plugs into the Farmbot monitor. We also have flow and pressure, pump control, which we just went over, and also camera safety check-in, and then 2 wireless devices that talk to a Farmbot monitor. So we have that in the form of an Extend, which is a water level monitor, and also a wireless trough sensor. The Farmbot difference. We work anywhere, anytime. You can either have, we do have a cellular option, but we also have a satellite option giving access everywhere. Alerts are event triggered in real time. So you're going to know within minutes if something's going on or there's been a change and you need to get out there. We're built to last, fit for purpose. We've been tried and tested all over Australia, trusted by Aussie farmers as well. We're on some of the largest landholders in Australia who are using Farmbot and continuously adding more of our hardware solutions. And lastly, the data that's captured. So this is to support producers to make informed decisions now, but also in the future moving forward. So now we have Kylie Stretton, who is joining us today, a Farmbot customer. Kylie's been involved in the beef industry for many years and is very well respected throughout, being named the 2017 Beef Industry Rising Champion. Kylie spreads her time over a number of different operations and areas within the industry. And now we'd love to get to know you a little more, Kylie. So if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your operation, we'd love to hear from you.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on this morning. I'm hoping you can see my camera. Is it working? Because I can't see on my screen properly at the moment. So I'm hoping it's all working.
We can see you, Kylie.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm out of frame or not. So I was like, maybe you
No,
can
you're good. You're good.
No, that's all good. So we have a lot of balls up in the air. We own 2 small stations in the Charters Towers region. One is our main station is Red Hill, which is 13,000 acres, and Centauri, which is 10,000 acres. So they're quite small for the Charters Towers region. And we have cattle on agistment. So for ourselves, we have over 1,000 head of cattle spread across 3 places. And then on top of that, my husband is a livestock agent, and we run our own livestock agency. And we also manage a pastoral company as well for a third party that has overseers on place on the stations. So we've got a lot of different entities and a lot of different operations that we have to get our heads around. And obviously that takes up a lot of our time. So particularly on Red Hill, which is, you know, for me, that is my main focus. Even though I support my husband in his other roles, I generally manage a lot of the day-to-day stuff on Red Hill. And when we bought Red Hill in 2018, it was in very poor condition. The landscape led to, we're in the Charters Towers region, so our soils are highly erodible. It had been under poor management for some time. And because we were so little, and like the station itself is little for our region, we were really wanting to get the best bang for our buck. And not just up our numbers, our stock numbers, but actually improve our efficiency. So it's all well and good to have a lot of cattle running around, but if they're not efficient producers, it's really pointless and it's bad for your landscape. So we set about mobbing our cattle up into one big mob and rotating them through the paddocks. So from a Farmbot and a water perspective, this means that our cattle, we have a lot of cattle watering off one water system or off two water systems. So with Red Hill itself is a big tableland mountain that's got a 300-foot drop off the side. So it's nearly cliff faces all the way around, but it's 1,500 acres and it runs right down the middle of our place. And that's where all the good water bores are. It's actually up on top of the hill. So a majority of our water storage, we have a few 30,000 litre tanks up on top of this hill, and then it feeds out to the lower country through 63 mil pipe. So if we bust one of those pipes or they get a leak or the cattle knock a float off a trough, we can lose that 30,000 litres very, very rapidly within an hour and a half. So because the pressure coming down that hill is phenomenal. It's just huge. So once we got to Red Hill and we started working all this out, within 6 months, we had Farmbots on those main water tanks up on top, because it would take days to try and replenish that water out of the bores, and it would obviously put a huge drain on the water table as well. So if I've got 500 cows watering off 3 water points, like 3 troughs off one bore, I need to know pretty rapidly that that tank's emptying. So that's where the Farmbots come into play onto Red Hill, and we have the same on the stations away from us as well, because we're not there all the time, or we're relying on caretakers who aren't as experienced, that we can check in to the main water tanks where everything gets watered off. And yeah, we've seen a really big difference at Red Hill in the last 5 years. We've really raised not only our carrying capacity, but our production as well. So currently I have got 500 cows rotating in one mob around the station, and I don't generally have more than 2 mobs on the station at all. So I might have my breeders and my dry cattle. So it is really important that I can keep on the ball with this water.
Thank you, Kylie. That was great to learn a little bit about your operation and how Farmbot has integrated with Red Hill and the other operations. Now, I guess with your experience and with people or other producers who might be sitting on the fence about whether to get into remote water monitoring and Farmbot solutions, what would you have to say to them?
I think a lot of the resistance I see from people is that, they say that it's lazy and you're not doing your water runs, but I still do a water run every 2 days, and that's simply because, and that's in winter. In summer, in the heat waves, it's often every day. But I also have like I said, I have a quite a small place for the region, and all my cattle are in one paddock. So a water run for me might take an hour, and that's really important to me as well for my mental health, is to get out and about and have a look and see how things are going. But it doesn't have to replace your water runs. It doesn't have to, take you away from those fun jobs, the good jobs that, getting your hands in the dirt and having a look. It just helps you be on top of things, because if you lose all that water and your cattle are without water for 2 days, well, that production puts you way back. It puts their fertility right down. If it's the heat of summer, you will see a lot of losses, not just deaths, but just in production wise, they will lose kilos, they will go backwards. It really puts you back like several days, several weeks in your weight gain or your fertility and your efficiency. So it's just peace of mind. And it's also peace of mind that if I go away somewhere and we often get grey nomad caretakers, well, I can still actually keep an eye on the water, and I can check in and I can say, oh, look, guys, I think there might actually be a leak in this pipe, because I can see the graph going up and down. It goes down overnight steadily, but then once the sun kicks in and the solar pumps kick back in, it goes back up. So I know there's a leak in a pipe, and I can say to them, can you go and check that. So it's a lot of peace of mind, and I really don't think you can put a price on that.
I agree,
Great.
Kylie, and I
Thank-
think just, can I just say something? Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it, Ange.
Al?
Yeah, go.
Just like our experience has been a little bit with the Landcare. We've got a few programs, and one's around a farm dam project, and I think it's important for people to understand exactly as you were just saying, Kylie, that as far as say this fencing off farm dams, which is happening in some areas to protect, you know, the entry to the dam and the exit, and putting in a trough. We talk about that pretty easily in some areas where properties are smaller, and it's probably easier to go and check your trough. But we all know, especially us Queenslanders, is that troughs can be kind of high risk unless you're able to see them pretty frequently. And when your property is very big, as Kylie was just saying, you know, running out to checking on your waters has been quite an important thing, to the point where most properties actually had a person that was their only job on the bigger properties. But that funny thing of, you know, oh, you're being lazy by not going and checking your waters. I mean, it's not either or, is it? It is, you know, the Farmbot technology can add to your capacity. You're still wanting to, you know, check your waters at some basis, and you still want to know what's happening, but it just enables you to keep a closer check on it and be preemptive. Because even 2 days, like for a lactating cow, to not have water for 2 days, she'll survive, the calf will likely survive, but it actually sets them back quite a long way. For, you know, conditioning steers, if you're getting ready to send them off to a feedlot or even to a backgrounder, 2 days of no water is quite significant. That will hold them back for about 10 days worth of weight gain. We know that, don't we? So these are all just really important things that the Farmbot technology doesn't replace you keeping an eye on your waters, but it adds to your ability to be really strategic about it. So I think, you know, the opportunity, and also I hadn't really thought about it before when you're talking about the grey nomads, and when you've got stock on agistment on properties that you're not, you know, like managing all of the time, or you didn't set up yourself. So you've got an opportunity to make sure that water is, you know, going to the cattle. And also, like you said, so you can let your grey nomad, or, you know, whoever your farm manager is, property manager, you know, just let them know if something's going wrong. So anyway, I'm just saying, look, I think it's just, there's some great opportunities with Farmbot. And I think the other thing is you guys have made sure this technology is pretty simple to use, you know, and that's the main thing. It's not like it's going to take you hours to engage with Farmbot. It's actually meant to save you time, to have, that you have more time to do other things. And we all know that everyone on properties are busy. So it just enables that, you know, bit more time to do the other work. So anyway, I'll let you, I'll hand back to you, Elle, because I think there's a couple of good questions that have come up.
Thanks, Ange, and thanks, Kylie. That was really great. You made some great points around the peace of mind, also knowing what your water's doing when you're away, and just how valuable it can be knowing what it's doing, and how to try and avoid a problem before it does become a problem. I'm going to jump into the chat now, and I can answer a few questions now, and then we'll jump into the on-farm connectivity stuff. So thank you everyone for popping in where you're from. We're from all over. We've got Tasmania, New South Wales, Victoria, a few Queenslanders. So love seeing that. Okay, so we've got, how much does a Farmbot remote monitoring system cost? So for the main Farmbot water level monitor, you're looking at $12.90 for the Farmbot for the unit water level. Annual fees, so we have our two options. We have a cellular and a satellite option. Cellular starting at is $342 per unit, and the satellite is $456 per unit. Now the Farmbot monitor has a number of things or uses. So it's not only water level, you can have those add-ons that I spoke about, which was the rain gauge and the pump control, the flow, for example, the wireless devices. So they plug into the back of the Farmbot unit, or the wireless devices talk to it. So you can have up to 10 wireless sensors talking to the Farmbot unit. Just depends on what operation and setup, and what data you're wanting to gather, or what you're wanting to monitor in terms of how you set it up and the placement of the devices. Next question from Doug. How reliant is Farmbot on internet reception or mobile network? So what we would say, if you're looking at using the cellular option, you'd want to be able to stand at the location of the Farmbot unit or the tank where you're monitoring, and you'd want 1 bar of service consistently for 10 minutes without dropping out. If it's dropping in and out or a bit patchy, your best option is then to go satellite. Now, yes, is the information available on the grants? Yes, so I'm going to jump into that now and get to the other questions at the end. Perfect. So the on-farm connectivity grant, which is claiming up to 50% of the cost of Farmbot products, 50% off shipping, and 10% off the first year subscription per device. So the federal government on-farm connectivity grant, it's super simple. We're an approved supplier, and we will guide you through the process and submit the application on behalf of the producer. Before we jump into the process, I'm just going to give a quick background. This is an Australian government-funded program that's dedicated $30 million over 2 years to help primary producers improve connectivity and adopt on-farm technology. Eligible producers can access 50% discount on the eligible equipment, which is all of our remote monitoring solutions. It's been broken down into 2 rounds of $15 million, with the first round available now. First served basis for eligible producers. It has around just under 3 months to go, or until funds are exhausted. So to avoid missing out, we suggest submitting an application as soon as possible, because that money is being spent quickly. Now, to determine if you're eligible for the grant. So firstly, you need to have a registered business, an ABN, noting that you can apply with multiple ABNs. You need to have an annual average pre-tax income from primary production between $40,000 and $2 million, and operate as primary production and have a primary production activity. Once you've determined that you're eligible, we need to determine the value of the grant. So the rebate amount will be up to 50% of the equipment. The minimum rebate amount is $3,000, and the maximum rebate amount is $30,000. Therefore, total cost of the order needs to exceed $6,000, excluding GST of Farmbot hardware, to be eligible. The exciting news is there's lots of options. I mean, as I said, all of our remote monitoring solutions are available. So you've got your water, our primary water level monitoring, dam and turkey nest level monitors, diesel level, pump control, rain gauge, trough sensors, camera, etc. How does it work if you are eligible and wanting to apply for the program? Firstly, either contact myself, Farmbot, our team, or our local hardware or farm supplies that are eligible, to discuss the technology, how it works, if you have a few more questions, and get a quote. Then we will submit an application on your behalf. You'll then get an invite to submit your farm income declaration via the grant, and add your primary producer details through the grant program portal. It's just a 1-pager. It's pretty straightforward. Once you've completed that, you let whoever know that's submitting the application that's been completed, and then we will submit the application on behalf. Once it's been approved, you'll be notified and have 60 days to purchase the technology. So some frequently asked questions. Can Farmbot apply on your behalf? Yes, we will service the full hardware margin across all the products purchased. We actually get the rebate amount back from the government, so there's no need for you to be chasing money from them. It's just your portion of the order that needs to be covered. How will Farmbot track sales that go through a store? So Farmbot will supply a report before year end with all the open applications. Can the same ABN apply multiple times? Yes, if the max 30,000 rebate is not exceeded. Is there an option for businesses with a turnover of more than 2 million? If they have multiple ABNs, there is an option. You might be eligible with one of your other ABNs. I touched on before how long the grant's going for, so until the 31st of May or until funds are exhausted. Shipping can be claimed 50% off the shipping costs. So that's the on-farm connectivity in a grant in a nutshell. Do we have any questions? I'm just going to jump in the chat now to see if there's any questions around the grant. So if you do have any questions, pop them in the chat now around the grant, and I can answer some of those questions. Karen, does Farmbot work in dams as well as tanks? Yes, the Farmbot monitor can monitor the level in the dams and tanks. We have the option for custom cables, so or longer cables. So we have a 12, 18 and 30 meter cable, and can do even longer if that's what you need, depending on what you're wanting to monitor and the depths. Landcare Australia, is the Farmbot platform able to be integrated into any existing farm management platforms? Yes. So currently we can integrate with AgriWeb. How you would be able to access the information is in the marketplace in AgriWeb. It would give you an overview or a snapshot of what each of the tanks are doing and the percentage that they're at. It's quite a high level overview, but that's where you can still visualize it. And we also integrate with Maya grazing. Okay. Perfect. Well, that's it for me, guys. Thank you for joining us. Was there any more questions from the audience? If you want to pop in the chat, otherwise I'll probably start to wrap things up.
I just had one question, Al, and this is my ignorance. When you said that if you can't get reliable telephone reception, then you should go to satellite, does that mean that Farmbot works off a satellite connection? And if so, how do you get a satellite connection on your property?
So in terms of our satellite, the satellite provider that we use, Inmarsat, connects to the Farmbot software, can talk to the satellites, which then feeds back to the platform, which is how we're able to operate anywhere without cellular service. So
does that mean for a producer that doesn't have telephone service, they need, how do they get a satellite connection? Do you know what I mean? So if I'm on a farm, there's no phone reception, which is on a lot of properties. How do I access the satellite connection? Is that through you guys or?
Correct. So it's the devices, the hardware, the software within the actual Farmbot unit has the capabilities to talk to the satellite. So there's no need to set up any sort of satellite operation. It's all comes with the units. So
when you say if you stand there for 10 minutes and you can't get reliable access to the phone, that you would just say that to Farmbot and say, look, I don't have a reliable phone, so can we do it via satellite? Is that all it takes? Like, and then it's just all done? That's
correct. So when we're going through the process of the quote and the order, it would be a matter of if they're unsure of whether they need cellular or satellite, that's when I'd be saying, look, if you can go out to the tank and you're not sure, stand there for 10 minutes, see if it's dropping in or out. And that'll determine whether we would suggest going cellular or satellite. So the Farmbot unit comes pre-programmed to either be cellular or satellite.
Right. And then look on that, I think looks like Doug's just asked the question, is Farmbot compatible to the Starlink satellite system?
Short answer, no. So at the moment, we don't use the Starlink satellite system. We're using Inmarsat. We often get a few questions if they have Starlink on the property, will our units talk to that Wi-Fi system? So answer is no, we don't connect to a Wi-Fi system. It either needs to be the cellular phone service from the phone towers, or it needs to be talking to the satellites, which is a nominated third party from us, which is Inmarsat.
Thanks, Elle.
That's okay.
Any more questions, anyone? You can turn your microphone on and actually ask it. Oh, here we go. Chris has just asked one, Elle.
Yeah.
Can you get it via your internet? Is the farm app available on your PC and not just a
So
mobile?
Oh yeah, is the Farmbot app available on your PC and not just a mobile? As I think this is what people are referring to when there's no phone. Can you get it via your internet? Chris, to answer your question, yes. So it's actually a web app. You can make it a shortcut so that it appears as an app on your phone, but it's accessible via your PC, your iPad, your phone. It just depends how you want to use the platform. In terms of internet coverage, though, if you're out on farm and you don't have any service, you wouldn't be able to get updates on what the tanks are doing at that time. You'd need to either be on Wi-Fi or have service for your platform to perform.
And then the comment there is then, does that mean then that web app is available via Starlink? Is that, if that's how you connect to the internet on your computer? I guess that's what.
That's it. Yeah, correct. You can connect via Wi-Fi or cellular to be able to see what the platform's doing.
Awesome. Does anyone else have questions for the Farmbot team? Looks like you've informed everyone very well, Elle. And our question, I guess, question for you, like I'm just sort of thinking as far as some of the groups that I work with, the Landcare Ag program, we might have groups coming to you, with requests for Farmbot technology across, 10 or 12 producers in a group, for example, if that were the case. So we can just come to you with that and then you can support us, hold our hands through that process.
Definitely, yeah. My contact details there, or there'll be an email sent around after this, and Landcare will have my details. So happy to have a chat, any questions, work through some things. Here to help.
Great. Thanks, Elle. Well, I think, thank you so much for a really informative webinar. Elle or Nina, did you have anything you wanted to add before we kind of wrap this up a bit? No,
all good from my end. Like I said, reach out, any questions. It's a great chance to, if you are sitting on the fence or have been thinking about it, being able to capitalize on this grant to get 50% off hardware, that's probably the best it's going to get. So, if you're thinking about it, give us a call and we can see what we can do.
Great. Thanks, Elle and Nina. Look, I know everyone that these guys are really good at supporting producers to jump into this. Look, is there a Victorian contact? The question there?
So, sure. In that scenario, we'd be saying to give our head office a call, or you can give me a call and I can help redirect. We're a small team, so we all work together.
Right. Well, look, thanks so much, Elle, and I agree, you're a small team, but you're a very dynamic team. So look, let's all, feel free to contact Farmbot or even come back to us at Landcare Farming, at the Landcare program, if you need support, and we can go to those guys. And I think there's a real opportunity to, if you're looking at, say, some of the Coke Farm Dams projects and things that we've been able to offer and other ones, it just actually gives you a bit of safety around your stock being able to still access water. So look, thanks guys. This has been a really informative webinar, and we will send out the link to the webinar to you all, so then you can share it with any of your colleagues that weren't able to attend today but still want to hear the information. Great. Well, thank you. I think unless anyone's got anything to say, we can all get back to our days. Thanks all.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. We'll send you the link. Bye-bye. Bye.